Good afternoon, guys. Brian here with ABC Vending, the vending profit. I've been thinking about that. There's always a cost in vending that is, or any business, is like ink cartridges or anything else. You run out of right in the middle of trying to do something. You gotta stop what you're doing and readjust your thinking. What I wanted to do was that time of the month, 1st of October, do one of my commission statements. But there's going to come a time in your business where you want to go after a large location, nursing homes, prisons, distribution centers. So the way I designed mine is we made this little sheet up, and we got it broken down, snacks and drinks. So it says snack and drink machines. Because at this location, I have an agreement to do a certain percentage of commission on snacks and drinks, and a certain percentage on cold food, because there's mostly, for most vendors, this cold food's a loss. Any vendor items will be, and I know most companies do 0 commission on cold food, and just a certain percentage on snacks and drinks. So what we did is we got snacks and drinks, gross sales, and then we got less 2-tier pricing. You guys know what 2-tier pricing is. That's on your credit card readers. Credit card readers will stamp up 10 cents on each charge to cover our fees, the vendor's fees, on the percentage per product and the whatever the agreed price is per month per card reader on each machine. But then you got the 2-tier pricing, and then you got the total, and then you got your commission rate. Whatever that rate is, times that equals your gross snack and drink sales minus 2-tier pricing. So you do that on snacks and then cold food, and then you come out to your commission rate. So that's how I do it. Prior to this one right here, we actually had to change our sheet for this particular location. But I did, starting out, like most of you guys with small locations, less than 30 employees. If I had a place less than 30 employees, I would do it for convenience only, no commission. It's not worth the time and effort it costs you to work the locations, to fill the product, buy the product, and handle all the maintenance and repair calls at a location with less than 30 people, and then get a cut of the sales. It just doesn't pan out real good. And I've been watching some Facebook feeds where some groups starting in vending, and I've seen where they were showing some of them's trying to offer 35%, and I've heard one guy said he'd offer 50%. I'm like, whoa, that's like crazy. That's why I kind of want to come on here as some 30 something years of history and knowledge that just don't destroy the market, is what I'm gonna say. Even though I sold my company, I'm a small vendor now. I got less than 20 machines, 25 machines. So let's don't destroy the market by offering somebody 30 and 40 and 50% commission. That's ridiculous. No matter what your prices are, there's no money left in that after you do all your service and calls. So stick with what I did, and I guess I should teach you guys. So I had a 3-tier offer to locations. I had a 10%, a 15%, and a 20%. Each one of those tiers, when I walked in a location and offered them my services, I would first try to go in there and feel them out and try to get them to tell me whether they had commission or not. And there's ways of talking around that, and you eventually find out during talking with somebody whether they do or not. And a lot of times you can go in and look at their pricing. If they're really low, you're like, whoa, it's probably a no commission location, but their prices are super low. So that's how we had it. We had a 0, I guess you could say a 4-tier. We had a 0%, a 0 commission, a 10, a 15, and a 20. And when you bump up to 10, the prices changed probably a nickel to 10 cents each jump. That's the way I did it for years, and it was successful for me. We went from 2 machines to 400 in the same way. A location with less than $100 in sales in a month, well, even if you agreed on commission, you basically agreed at the time of agreeing on the commission rate, 10, 15, or 20, that anything less than $100 in sales, it was going to bump back down to 0, because it's just not worth it. Less than $100 in sales in a month, if you're paying commission on, you're washing out. People outside looking in, it's not in the vending business, see all these YouTube videos and with all this cash stacking up, and they think, man, he's making a killing. They don't look at the cost involved, the Coke bills, Pepsi bills, gas money, ink cartridges. People don't realize that we pay sales tax on the products that we sell out of the machine. You're probably paying sales tax on it, and then you turn around and sell it. And if you're doing anything legit as a business, your tax person is saying, "All right, Brian, how much sales did you have this month?" And I say, "Well, we had X amount of sales, and whatever went through your bank account is what you'll be audited on for tax purposes. So whatever flowed through your bank account, direct deposit, credit cards, and all your deposits in cash, that's what the federal government will audit you on from your tax person to be legitimate in the vending business." So those of you that don't have your tax-free, tax exemptions set up prior, so when you go to Sam's and say, "Okay, I'm a tax exempt when I purchase," that doesn't mean that you're tax exempt forever. It means you're tax exempt on purchase, but when you sell it, your bank account is audited as a business. Lots of vendors don't understand that, and I wanted to get that kind of across to you guys. So back to the commission. So I did a 10, 15, and a 20, and the price jumped anywhere from a nickel to 10 cents on each tier. And so this is the way I did it. I took total amount of revenue from that machine. Whatever was pulled out of that cash box was collected in VendSys, which is a vending management program. Like I said earlier in one of my other videos, we did a cash bag collect. The cash bag had a number on it. It was counted in the office, and it came across my desk, and it was entered into VendSys per location, per machine. And I pulled those sales up for the month period from the 1st to the 30th, the 31st. They told me for that machine, it done X amount of money. I took that number, and whatever my profit range was, in most machines, if your prices are pretty correct in the vending world, and you're not cutting somebody's throat trying to just get the business, you're going to be at about a 30 to a 40% markup to survive in the vending business. A 40 is better. So what I did was and that's how I did all my machines, no matter if I had 400 machines, so across the board, I did it at 40%. And some customers that gave an advantage, they got a little more commission, but you're talking about pennies on a dollar realistically. So I took, say, the 100. So the way I did it was, if it was 100, let's say that's 1,000. I didn't do 100. So we did $1,000 in sales, right? At 40%. So what is your profit? Off $1,000 and you get 40%. So you're talking about $400 is actual profit, right? So where we go with that? Then we got 2-tier pricing. So you were charged on your credit card readers 2-tier pricing. And I'm gonna just say we had $50 in 2-tier pricing. So I deduct 50. So now I'm down to $350. Right? I'm down to $350 total gross sales. And then that's what I would pay commission on. Whatever my agreement. I'm down to $350 after taking out my 2-tier cost on my credit card readers. Because I didn't get that anyway. I went to the credit card company. Because that was what it cost us to have the card readers. Ultimately. It comes to us, but eventually we have to pay back anyway. So they're just taking it out of the cards. So I'm down to $350 actual gross or net sales. That's actually what I profited out of the $1,000. So all right. So then that's when I would pay the 10 to 20 or the whatever percentage I agreed to pay the company. And we were successful. Some didn't like that so much, but I'm not gonna pay. He figured the other way. Just say it's $1,000. $1,000 in sales. And just say you're giving a straight 20%. Like some people try to claim they do. And that's fine if they do. But I just could not see fit to ever do that. $1,000 in sales times 0.20. That's $200 to location. That's at 20%. All right, doing it my way. This is what you would pay the location if you're going straight 20%. So we already know your cost. You're only making 40%. So you actually made 400 minus your $50 in two-tier sales. So $350, back to that number again. So now you're gonna pay the location $200 and out of your $350, $150 on that location after doing $1,000 in sales. I could not see fit to do that. That's your average profit's 40%. That's 400. So now we're at profit. 400 profit minus 50 in two-tier pricing. We're at $350 profit. Now let's do. We actually made $350 is what we made, and let's now do that times point. Same thing, 20. So now you're giving them $70 location. You're giving the location $70 versus giving them $200. You've made $280 off that location, off $1,000 in sales, which is where you need to be. Because technically, let's go that even though you start out with 40% profit, by the time you drop two-tier sales and give them another 20%, okay, out of $1,000, you've made 280. See where I'm going with that? You're talking about a month. You're talking about in 4 weeks. Let's just say this was broken out by the month, $1,000 a month. It's not. It's crazy to give them 20%, straight 20%. It's only $70 a week you've actually made on that machine, and what it cost you to drive there, and everything, all the back expenses is not accounted for. So be smart about doing commissions. I would advise not to do straight commissions, and especially not to do 20% or even more. That's ridiculous. Do it off of profit, which your profit is normally around 30, 35 to 40%. Yep, everybody knows how much candy costs now. Candy's in the 70-cent range, even at Sam's Club. How you gonna sell candy for $1 and then give somebody 20% straight commission? Are you gonna make 5 cents? No. I missed a piece of information I want to tell you guys. Everybody with credit card readers, there are certain contracts out there that require a straight commission, like I try to tell you to avoid from doing. Like prisons, for one. Prisons require a straight commission on gross sales. And they're getting, a lot of these locations are getting smart about it too, especially prisons. And they know that they actually started mandating every machine have a card reader. Now, there are locations in some prisons I had that wouldn't get any signal, so we had to go off of the cash pulls. So we had to, some locations in prisons can't get any signal, so we had to go off cash pulls from those machines. But these people in the state have required machines to all have card readers. And the reason they're doing that is they know that anybody who's not an honest vendor has to send in this report. And this is from USAT. You guys that are familiar with these reports on the computer, exactly what I'm talking about. It's called a sales roll-up report. And so they're requiring you now to email the report with the commission statement. And they have a copy of that on file. It knows the cash amount and it knows the credit amount. So there's really no way to cheat the system if you were really, a cheater or tried to cheat the system. So with card readers on all the machines, you really have no way of avoiding not doing the right thing. And it's a good thing. So it keeps everybody honest, and especially if you're a sure enough vendor and not just a fly-by-night vendor who's just trying to stick some thick stacks of ones in your pocket. But so you print the report, the sales roll-up report from 9/1 to 9/30, and then you do the report, print it out, and then you break down. The only thing that I took off again was the two-tier pricing, because that's what the cost to have the card readers on the machine. It's not an advantage to me. In one way, it is an advantage to the vendor, but in some places it's not, because in like the prisons, for example, they're not even allowed to use a credit card. Some visitors, matter of fact, don't even allow to use cards either.